At my cousin's baby shower, her 3-year-old son hurled a glass paperweight at my head and screamed that Mommy said I was just the nanny who doesn't get presents. The entire room erupted in laughter. I set down the gift I'd brought, walked out, and drove away in my 15-year-old Honda Accord. That night, I got a text from my cousin. "Don't be so sensitive. You know we love you. But let's be real about your situation." I stared at that message for a long time before typing back, "You're absolutely right. Let me be real about my situation." Then I turned off my phone. Let me back up. My name is Claire, and I'm 32 years old. For the past decade, my family has treated me like I'm invisible. Or worse, like I'm some kind of charity case they're graciously tolerating. They see my old car, my thrift store wardrobe, my tiny apartment, and they've decided I'm the family failure. Never mind that I've been building something they can't even imagine. My cousin Miranda is 3 years younger than me, but you'd think she was royalty the way my aunt and uncle fawn over her. Golden hair, perfect teeth, married a lawyer named Chad who wears expensive watches and talks constantly about his partnership track. They live in a McMansion in the suburbs with their 2 kids, and Miranda hasn't worked since she got pregnant 8 years ago. I work at a nonprofit literacy center. I help adults learn to read. It's rewarding, it's meaningful, and it pays about $37,000 a year. My family treats this like I'm volunteering at a soup kitchen out of pity. At Thanksgiving 2 years ago, Chad asked me if I'd considered getting a real job, and my Uncle Paul actually laughed. Miranda patted my hand and said, "Not everyone is ambitious, and that's okay. What they don't know is that when I was 22, my grandmother died and left me everything. Not just everything she had, but everything she'd built. Grandma Rosalie was a genius with money. She bought properties during the recession, invested carefully, lived modestly, and when she passed, she left me a portfolio worth just over $11 million. She left nothing to my mother, her daughter, nothing to Uncle Paul, her son, nothing to any of the cousins, just me, because I was the only one who visited her every single week in that nursing home. I was the only one who read to her, who listened to her stories, who remembered her birthday. The rest of them were too busy. Her will was airtight. The lawyer explained that she'd set everything up in a trust with me as the sole beneficiary. My mother screamed at me for 2 hours when she found out, accused me of manipulating an old woman. She demanded I share the inheritance like family should. When I refused, she stopped speaking to me for 6 months. But here's the thing. I didn't touch the money. Not for a car, not for clothes, not for anything visible. I kept my job, kept my apartment, kept living exactly as I had been. I worked with financial advisors to grow the portfolio. I learned about LLCs and property management. I bought buildings, quietly, apartment complexes, commercial spaces. That nonprofit where I work? I bought the building 3 years ago and became the landlord. They don't know. Nobody knows. I wanted to see who my family really was. I wanted to watch how they treated me when they thought I had nothing. And they showed me, over and over again. Last Christmas, Miranda gave everyone designer gifts. Handbags for my aunt, a Tag Heuer watch for Chad's brother, cashmere scarves for her kids' teachers. She gave me a Bath & Body Works gift basket from the clearance section. Still had the 75% off sticker on it. When I opened it, she announced loudly, "I figured you'd appreciate something practical since you're on such a tight budget." My mother chimed in, "That's so thoughtful of you, Miranda. Claire, you should be grateful your cousin thinks of you at all." At Miranda's son's birthday party in March, I brought a gift I'd spent 2 weeks choosing. A beautiful wooden puzzle handmade by a local artist, perfect for his age. Miranda opened it, wrinkled her nose, and said, "Oh, how rustic." Then she set it aside and never mentioned it again. Later, I saw it in their garage sale pile. The baby shower was supposed to be different. Miranda was pregnant with her 3rd child, a girl this time, and Aunt Diane was throwing this massive celebration at their country club. I spent $400 on gifts from Miranda's registry. A designer diaper bag, organic crib sheets, one of those fancy baby monitors that tracks breathing. I wrapped everything beautifully. I showed up in my usual clothes. A simple dress from Target, sandals I'd had for 3 years, my purse from TJ Maxx. Miranda was holding court in the center of the room, wearing a white maternity dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent, surrounded by women in tennis bracelets and highlights that cost $300 every 6 weeks. When I walked in, I heard Miranda whisper to one of her friends, "That's my cousin Claire. Total sweetheart, but she's never really gotten her life together. We try to include her anyway." I swallowed it. I always swallowed it. The party was the usual performance. Miranda opened gifts with exaggerated gasps. Every onesie was the cutest thing ever. Every blanket was absolutely perfect. When she got to my gifts, she barely glanced at the tags. "Oh, from Claire. Thanks, these are great." Then she moved on to the next box. Her son, Tyler, was running around like a tornado. He's 3 years old and has never been told no in his life. He screams in restaurants. He hits other kids at the playground. Miranda calls it spirited and says she doesn't believe in crushing his personality. Tyler grabbed a glass paperweight from Aunt Diane's mantel, one of those heavy decorative spheres. He held it over his head and started running toward the gift table. I was standing nearby, and I put my hand out gently. "Hey, buddy, that's not a toy. Let's put it back, okay?" He looked at me with pure rage on his 3-year-old face and hurled it directly at my head. I ducked, and it hit the wall behind me hard enough to chip the paint. The room went silent for about 2 seconds. Then, Tyler pointed at me and shrieked, "Mommy said you're just the nanny who doesn't get presents because you're poor." I looked at Miranda. She was beet red, but she was also trying not to laugh. So was Chad. So was Aunt Diane. So was my mother. And then they did laugh. All of them. Like it was the funniest thing they'd ever heard. "Tyler," Miranda said through her giggles. "That's not exactly what Mommy said." But she didn't correct him. She didn't apologize to me. She just scooped him up and nuzzled his nose. "You're such a silly boy." I set down my glass of punch, picked up my purse, and walked out. Nobody stopped me. I could hear them still laughing as I got into my car. I sat in that Honda for 10 minutes before I started the engine. My hands were shaking. Not from sadness, from rage. Pure, crystalline rage that I'd been suppressing for 10 years. The text from Miranda came at 11 that night. "Don't be so sensitive. You know we love you, but let's be real about your situation." I typed back, "You're absolutely right. Let me be real about my situation." Then, I called my property manager, Liam. He handles my portfolio and knows every detail of my holdings. "I need you to pull files for me," I said. "Everything we own that connects to my family in any way." Turned out, we had 3 properties connected to them, Miranda and Chad's house. They'd refinanced 2 years ago when interest rates were low, and the mortgage had been sold to a larger lender who'd then bundled it with other mortgages and sold it to an investment firm, my investment firm. One I'd created through a network of LLCs specifically to keep my name hidden. My Uncle Paul's commercial property, a small office building he rented out. He'd taken out a business loan last year using the building as collateral. That loan had also been packaged and sold. To me, and my mother's condo. She'd refinanced to pay for a kitchen remodel and a trip to Europe with her book club. Same story, same result. I owned their debt. All of it. And they had no idea. "What do you want to do?" Liam asked carefully. "Pull the files on payment histories. Are they current?" He was quiet for a moment, typing. "Miranda and Chad are 60 days behind on their mortgage. They missed April and May. Paul's commercial loan is 30 days late. Your mother is current. Send formal notices on the overdue accounts. Standard 30-day cure or quit." "Claire," Liam said gently, "are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." The notices went out by certified mail on Monday. By Wednesday, my phone was exploding. First, Chad called. Not Miranda, Chad. "Claire, this is insane. We got this threatening letter from some investment company claiming they own our mortgage and we're in default. It's obviously a scam. Just wanted to give you a heads up in case you get one too, since we're family." "It's not a scam," I said calmly. "Check the signature on your original loan documents. You'll see where your mortgage was sold. This is standard practice." "But we're family. Can't you talk to whoever you work with at that nonprofit and help us figure out what to do? You must know people who deal with predatory lenders." "I'm sure you can work it out," I said. "Just pay what you owe," he sputtered. "We had some unexpected expenses. Miranda's baby shower cost more than we planned, and we had to redo the pool deck. and Tyler's preschool raised their tuition. We were going to catch up next month. You have 30 days from the notice date. Good luck, Chad. I hung up. Uncle Paul called next, screaming, "Some vulture company is trying to steal my building. They're claiming I'm behind on my loan payments, but I'm only 30 days late. 1 month. Everyone's late sometimes. This is predatory capitalism at its finest." "Did you miss a payment?" I asked. "That's not the point. The point is they're not being reasonable. They won't work with me. Don't I have any rights?" "You have the right to pay your debts on time." "You're not being very sympathetic, Claire. I thought you worked with people in need. I thought you had compassion." "I do. For people who've shown me compassion." He hung up on me. My mother called on Friday, crying. "Claire, something terrible is happening. Miranda and Chad might lose their house, and Paul might lose his building. And they said it's all connected to some investment company, and I don't understand any of it, but you're smart with this kind of thing. Can you please help them? They're family." "Where's your notice, Mom?" I asked. "What notice?" "You refinanced your condo. Who holds your mortgage now?" I don't know. Some company. They just send me the payment slips every month." "Why?" "Check the company name." I heard papers rustling. Then silence. Then quietly, "Rosalie Holdings LLC. That's my company, Mom. I own your mortgage. I own Miranda's mortgage. I own Paul's loan. I own all of it." More silence. Then, "That's impossible. You don't have that kind of money. You work at a nonprofit." "I work at a nonprofit that I own. In a building that I own. I have $11 million, Mom. Grandma left it all to me, and I've turned it into considerably more." "You've had millions of dollars this whole time and you let us think you were poor?" "You decided I was poor. I never said I was. We could have. Miranda needed help with the kids. Paul needed investors for his business. I could have paid off my condo. And instead, you laughed at me. You pitied me. You treated me like garbage. For 10 years. We never treated you like garbage." "Mom?" Miranda's 3-year-old threw a glass paperweight at my head and told me I was too poor to get presents. "And you laughed." She didn't say anything. "You have 30 days to decide who you are," I said. "Miranda and Chad have 30 days to pay what they owe or I foreclose. Paul has the same. You're current on your payments, so you're fine. Just keep paying on time." "You'd actually take their homes? Your own family?" "They made it very clear I'm not family. I'm just the help." I hung up. The next 3 weeks were chaos. Miranda called crying, begging. Chad called threatening legal action. Uncle Paul called with various uncles and cousins on speakerphone, all trying to guilt me. My aunt sent long emails about forgiveness and Christian charity. I didn't answer any of them. What I did do was make an offer. I had Liam send official letters to both Miranda and Paul. I would forgive the late payments and restructure their loans with better terms if they met 2 conditions. First, written apologies. Real ones. Specific, detailed acknowledgments of how they'd treated me, why it was wrong, and what they'd do differently. Second, family therapy. 6 months, every week, with a licensed therapist I'd already vetted and prepaid. Miranda's response came back first. It wasn't an apology. It was 3 pages of reasons why she'd been trying to motivate me to do better, and how she'd always known I had potential, and now she understood I'd been playing poor to test them, which was really manipulative, actually. Foreclosure proceedings started the next day. Paul's response was worse. He wrote that I was wielding money like a weapon, and Grandma would be ashamed, and this proves I didn't deserve the inheritance. His loan was called in full. My mother was the only one who wrote a real apology. 3 pages. Handwritten, tear-stained. She acknowledged every instance she could remember of dismissing me, belittling me, choosing Miranda over me. She didn't make excuses. She just said she was sorry and she understood if I never forgave her. I called her. "Thank you for the letter. I meant every word. I've been a terrible mother to you, Claire. I don't know how to fix it. You can start by respecting my decisions. I'm not helping Miranda or Paul. They're adults. They made choices. Choices have consequences. I know, but I'm not foreclosing on you. Your mortgage is paid off as of today. The condo is yours, free and clear." She started crying. "Claire, you don't have to." "I know I don't have to. I want to. Because you're the only one who actually apologized. The only one who saw me as a person instead of a resource. What's going to happen to Miranda and Paul? That depends on them. They can pay what they owe. They can sell and downsize. They can figure it out like adults. What they can't do is steamroll me anymore. Miranda and Chad lost the house. They're renting now, a small 3-bedroom in a neighborhood without a country club. Miranda had to get a job. She's working retail at Nordstrom. She posts on Facebook about starting her career journey and finding herself with lots of empowerment hashtags. She's never mentioned my name. Uncle Paul lost his building. He had to declare bankruptcy. He's working for a former competitor now, no longer the boss. He told people I destroyed him and ruined his life over petty drama. My cousins on that side don't speak to me. That's fine, they never really did anyway. Tyler started preschool at a different school, one with strict behavioral policies. I heard through my mother that he's actually doing better with structure. Kids need boundaries. Turns out spirited was just code for never disciplined. The baby shower gifts I bought? I had them donated to a women's shelter in the next county. The shelter director sent me a thank you note saying the new moms there were so grateful. At least someone appreciated them. As for me, I'm still working at the literacy center. I still drive the Honda. I still wear Target dresses. Because none of that was ever about the money. It was about doing work that matters, living according to my values, not performing wealth for people who wouldn't respect me anyway. I did make one visible change. I bought myself a beautiful house. Nothing ostentatious, but it's mine. Every brick and beam. It has a garden where I grow vegetables and a reading nook where I drink coffee every morning. It has space and light and peace. My mother comes over for dinner once a week now. We're rebuilding, slowly. She met my financial advisor, saw my portfolio, understood the scope of what I'd built. She asked me once why I'd hidden it all. Because I needed to know, I told her. I needed to know if anyone loved me for me, or if they only valued what I could give them. And now you know. Now I know. Last week, I got an email from Miranda. The subject line was, "Can we talk?" I haven't opened it yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. She doesn't get to dictate my timeline anymore. Someone asked me once if I feel guilty about what happened. If I lie awake at night thinking about Miranda's kids living in a smaller house or Paul losing his business. The truth? No, I don't feel guilty at all. They made choices. They chose to treat me with contempt. They chose to laugh when a child threw something at my head. They chose to prioritize their egos over basic human decency. And when they needed help, they chose pride over accountability. I didn't take anything from them. I just stopped being their safety net. I stopped being the person they could mistreat without consequences. My grandmother once told me that the truest measure of someone's character is how they treat people they think can do nothing for them. Miranda, Chad, Paul, all of them. They showed me exactly who they were when they thought I was powerless. I just made sure they understood the reality of the situation. They wanted me to know my place. Now they know theirs.